Yeah. I used to write my story with my own hands.
I'm here when I stumble and I fall.
Now he rewrites every page.
Lights up the dark and calls my name when I don't hear the call.
Yeah.
He holds my hope, he holds my heart through every storm and sign. I'm not my past, I'm not my shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, he writes my life.
Came up from the basement with a suitcase full of questions. Empty pockets, heavy mind, faith in need a resurrection. Tried to build a throne from all my fears, keep it flexing, but the king showed up. Turned my rubble into blessings, counting losses, counting scars, scripture eating in margins. Said I know the plan, so I surrendered to the bargain. No more bargaining with fear. I traded for his promise, now I march for victory, even when the nights are darkest.
When the noise gets loud, I close my eyes and breathe. Find the whisper in the quiet where his voice leads me. He writes my lines, even when I stumble and I fall. Lights up the dark and calls my name when I don't hear the call. He holds my hope, he holds my heart through every storm and sign. I'm my past, I'm not my shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, he writes my
They told me get it back, but I gave it all to grace. Chasing after treasures that would never hold my weight. Now I'm running lanes for heaven, not for fame or accolades. Every chorus, every verse, I'm lifting up his name. Enemies around, but peace around the frame. Armor on my chest, righteousness, not just a name. Speak life in a mic, every lyric a flame. Not for clout, not for likes, it's for Jesus' fame.
Oh, he writes my lines. He writes my lines. Oh, he writes my lines. I walk in his design. Oh,
He writes my life. In a week he's strong when I'm lost in my sins on my shoulders like a winter that won't thaw. I tried to run from grace until I found an open door. Tears on the pillow, prayers scribbled on the floor. He picked me up and said, son, you're worth fighting for. Now I fight for those who can't find their voice in the noise. Turn the loss into a family broken into sons and daughters. Every rhyme a lifeline, every bar a choice, to point them to the one who traded heaven for our cause.
oh, he writes my lines. He writes my lines.